Hi guys, so I'm very lucky with this channel that I get involved in a lot of Kickstarter campaigns as I get early access to miniatures. And as you can see, this is one such miniature, and this is for the Kickstarter campaign, which is the Evernight Battlegrounds, Court of the Raven King. It's an upcoming war game, and they're starting off by releasing 10 miniatures, and they're 75mm Grimdark Miniatures, as you can see, highly detailed. And this chap I have in my hands is Sahef Sunderhold Lord, and yeah, an absolutely awesome looking miniature. There is a link down below, guys, to where you can find out more about this this campaign, and obviously these miniatures and the upcoming war game, say Evernight Battlegrounds. And yeah, this is what was sent to me, a lovely little box with the miniature in, a little bit of assembly here, but as you can see, not a whole lot. Yeah, very well packaged, very well designed, it just looks glorious. So in this video I'm going to go through the full process of, well, that well-known painting technique that I absolutely love, good old Slapchop painting. So yeah, so this video, guys, might be a bit longer than my normal ones, but that's because I want to show, well, absolutely everything I've done. So starting off with gluing this little sucker together, yeah, I just use a cheap sort of super glue and then get these nice long, well, it makes the glue come out a lot better, and you can obviously get it into the areas you need it rather than it going into, well, bigger areas. And yes, as this thing, obviously glue it together. There's only a few bits, so it's not exactly rocket science. Yeah, no instructions needed, obviously. But yeah, so every part of this miniature is just, it's well built, it feels really nice. It's of the kind of plastic that if you did drop this, it's not going to break, fracture, or any of that kind of stuff. It's going to have a little bit of bounce to it. And yeah, I just love the look of this character. He is, I mean, I do like wizards. You've probably heard in the past I love paladins, because obviously I love the fact of beefy, meaty armour. So I'm very much the, well, beefy armour or someone with some spells. And this guy, well, he's got spells and, well, I was going to say extra arms, but obviously not quite arms. They are tentacles. But yeah, definitely a wizard of some description. So the first thing I always do when painting miniatures, and that's to, well, attach them to one of these little miniature holders that I 3D printed. There's a link down below, guys. You can get these on Patreon, or my Patreon that is, and then priming it. And as you've seen me use this loads of times, this is my go-to primer, and it's the Matte Black by Colourforge. And the reason I love this one so much, I've tried loads of different primers over the years, from cheap ones to expensive ones, and this one, it sounds really silly to say, but this one is the mattiest of matte ones. Again, guys, you know I don't really know technical terms. All I know is this one goes on really well, covers great, and then when it dries, it's yeah, it lives up to its name, and it truly is a, well, a matte black. As you can see, I don't have a proper sort of spray box. Sometimes I go outside, depending on the weather really. But yeah, this one I thought I'd quickly do in the little box. But as you can see, it dries really quick, and yeah, it's perfect. As I said earlier, this video I'm going to go through every step of the good old Slapchop painter technique. So in this one I am doing Drybrush with grey, using some lovely dry brushes here by Artist's Opus. Yeah, I'll leave a link down below, guys, so where you can get that. And obviously good old textured Drybrush palette. Again, you can get hold of my one on my Patreon page if you really want to be rubbing your rubbing your brush over my face. That sounds a bit wrong, but there you go. I've said it. It's out there. I'm not taking that back. So yeah, good old dry brushing. Yeah, I've been dry brushing even before I started doing the old Slapchop stuff. As always, yeah, I hate the fact I'm wasting paint, but the results are, well, just perfect, so it's worth doing. So as you can see, load the paintbrush up, and then use the textured dry brush palette to, well, pretty much get most of it off. And then you know when you have done that, it's got just the right amount, so you can go straight over your miniature, and you know you're not going to cover it with, well, too much paint. So when doing the dry brush, the best sort of way to do it, as you can see, well, you try and do it as much as I can, and that's sort of go around in little circles, circular movements over the miniature. You generally get less sort of like, well, stripy dry brushing bits. It's a bit more uniformed and a bit more, I wouldn't say natural looking, but I don't know if that's quite the right term you'd use for dry brushing, a natural look. I'm not sure. Obviously you can't always do like swirly motions because of, well, the way the miniature is and the bits you're covering. So sometimes, yeah, you just have to go sort of lengthways or up and down or in and out, however really, to get the job done. And there we go, yeah, fully covered in the grey, and yeah, good start. So obviously I make sure that this has fully dried before going over and doing the white dry brushing. So as I say guys, I'm kind of leaving everything in this video, so it's going to be a longer video than normal, so there will be a lot more waffling and I'm probably going to trip over my tongue a multitude of times, but that's more the fun. So yeah, I hope you're sort of watching along and, well, you're painting some miniatures yourself. So yeah, that's the grey bit done, and now onto white. I sometimes get asked what sort of grey I use and what sort of white I use. With the grey, it's generally just like a mid-range grey, so it's not like dark, it's not light. And then with the white, it's, well, whatever white I've got available really. Yeah, because white is kind of white, I guess. I mean, there's probably different names of white, but yeah, to my eye, it's white. And then again, same sort of thing really, going over. If anything, I generally try to have less white on the brush, so this then really will just hit the outer edges. So then you obviously have a bit of a combination of the grey dry brush and the white dry brush, which just gives a nice sort of fading look between one to the other really. And obviously these just help emphasise the speed paints or contrast paints or whatever kind of paints you use to do the Slapchop painting technique in. So don't forget to check out the other 9 awesome miniatures down at the Kickstarter link down below for the Evernight Battlegrounds, as yeah, they all look just amazing. And yeah, it was pretty difficult for me to sort of choose which one I kind of wanted to have a go at. But as I say, I do like the wizardy sort of look of this dude. So the colours, yeah, there's a few colours in this, but these are the 2 main colours. And that's Malignant Green and Periwinkle Purple. So as I say, I'm using the Army Painter Speedpaints. And I have to admit, I love some of the names. They are pretty cool. And this Malignant Green is probably one of my favourite greens, as you probably would have seen me use this on, well, a fair few orcs. Yeah, I've got about 13 different greens, but this is definitely in the top 3 that I like to use on, well, let's say green skins really. And yeah, say good old Slapchop paint technique. It really couldn't be any simpler. If you're new to my channel, if you want to have a laugh, go and look back at some of my videos from just over a year ago, as you'll see that I very rarely painted miniatures, and whenever I did, I would always say I hated every bit of the painting, didn't like the end results, and yeah, I just saw it as a waste of 4 hours. And when I say 4 hours guys, that's kind of how long I would spend painting a miniature. And again, didn't enjoy any minute of that 4 hours, and the end result was just pants. Whereas now, the Slapchop paint technique, this miniature, I didn't really time myself, but I would say somewhere in the regions of half hour, maybe 45 minutes. That's not obviously including time waiting for the thing to dry. So yeah, a lot quicker, a lot better results, and I'm just so happy with painting. Again, if you've been here for the last year, you'll know I do a lot of painted miniatures. But yeah, when I first started this channel 3 years ago, I think I painted maybe one miniature every 3 months, because I just absolutely hated it. So yeah, now onto the Periwinkle Purple. So I must admit, I do love the names that they come out with for some of these things. And yeah, it really is as simple as just painting. It's like painting by numbers, the old Slapchop paint technique. It really is that simple. In some cases I do 2 coats. Depending on the paints. Some of the speed paints go on really well and only need one coverage, and other ones, yeah, sometimes I need 2 because they look a bit too sort of light, translucent. But yeah, so this goes on really, really well. I do need to get some bigger brushes. I know I've been saying that for a little bit, because it is a case of the brush I use is quite small. But yeah, I do need bigger brushes to get more paint on, especially doing obviously bigger miniatures. When I'm doing the smaller ones, yeah, this one's fine. But say this miniature, 75mm, lovely looking, but it does need, I think, a bigger brush. But again, this is more confidence as well. I mean, that's the reason why I've always used smaller brushes, because I've not been very confident in my painting. Whereas now, yeah, I'm a lot more confident. As you can see, the next colour I'm going to use is Purple Swarm, and this is going to be for his sort of undergarment. I'm not too sure, but yeah, the bit underneath his cloak, I guess. That's the thing with wizards, they don't tend to wear your normal sort of top and trousers. They like to wear cloaks and gowns and, well, I guess mystical things. But yeah, whatever it is, this is what's going underneath. Again, yeah guys, the old Army Painter Speedpaints, absolutely love these. I do have a few of the sort of Citadel contrast paints, but yeah, in general, I think the Army Painter Speed Paints are my sort of go-to ones. Normally as well, I guess, because I have a good relationship with Army Painter, and they do send me the large boxes, so I have got a lot of variations in the colours, which means it's obviously, well, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, because sometimes it's you have too much choice, which is a good thing to say when you have too much choice. But yeah, which colours to use, sometimes I do struggle, which is sometimes why I think I go on the internet and look what other people have done, just to sort of see if there's one out there that I kind of like the look of, and then possibly copy them. So let me know in the comments, guys, if you prefer these kind of videos where I go through and show every sort of paint I use. Now obviously I'm using Pallid Bone, and I'm going to use this on some of the exposed sort of brickwork there. Yeah, because a lot of the videos I do, I don't really go through and sort of say every paint I use. Only because I'm never too sure, well, I'm never too sure what you guys kind of really want. Whether you want a longer video where I do sort of go through and sort of say and show every single paint I use when painting a miniature, or if you prefer the sort of short and sweet version where you see little clippets of me painting, but I don't always obviously say what paint I'm using. So I do know obviously quite often I do get questions as in what paint did you use for that green skin, which I'm always happy to answer. But yeah, guys, let me know, because obviously I'm happy doing it either way, because obviously when I film myself painting, I do film not every single bit, but pretty much every bit, and then when I come to edit the videos, I do leave a lot on the old cutting floor, as they used to say. Yeah, so I can do videos where I do go through and show every sort of last colour that I use, really. So I'm going to paint his shirt next, but as I kind of want it to be white, I was going to just leave it as it was. And then I thought I'd try Ashen Stone. This is one I've not really used before. So I put some of this on, and as you'll be able to see, it changes it a little bit, but not a lot. But the thing is that I kind of wanted his shirt to, well, remain sort of white, grey looking. So this is where sometimes it is worth trying out new paints or ones that I've not used before, just to obviously see how they look. And say in this case, I don't know how well you can see it on the screen, but it does change the look of his shirt a fraction, but enough that it made it worthwhile, that's for sure. So yeah, certainly worth trying out the new ones that say there's a lot of paints or Army Painter Speed Paints that I've not even cracked open. I almost need to do like a tester of every single one. I have done it with obviously the lids. One of the first things I did when I did Army Painter Speed Paints is every lid I Slapchop painted all the lids, just so I could see exactly how the paint looks. But again, sometimes obviously on a small area you can't quite see as well as it would look on, well, a larger area. And yeah, this is what I mean by waffling, guys. You know me, I start talking and then sometimes I think my brain just goes off somewhere. But again, I know a lot of you guys say, whenever I say, do you want me to not waffle and just keep to the script? And you're like, no, I'm here for the waffle, you waffle away. As I'm sure a lot of you guys watching this, you are sitting at your desk doing some painting. So before I forget, here's Hardened Leather. This is a brown that I've used quite a bit. It's certainly one of my favourite ones. Yeah, kind of for all sorts really. This brown, it could be straps, well in this case obviously books, leather pants. Obviously it helps if I got the image in the screen there. Obviously apologies here, sometimes when I'm painting I do kind of forget I'm filming. But this is how much I love painting now, that I paint and I just go off into my own wibbly wobbly world, and then I look at the screen and think, oh yeah, you can't see what I'm doing. Although I think you can guess what I'm doing, I'm painting a miniature. But yeah guys, I'm going to say it again, don't forget to check out the link down below. Evernight Battlegrounds, awesome looking miniatures. So these are basically an early release of 10 miniatures for an upcoming war game, which is going to be phenomenal. I say if they're putting this much detail in the first sort of release of 10 figures, yeah, I can't wait to see. Well, I can't wait to see more. I say I am very fortunate with this channel that I do get early access to, well, a lot of miniatures, which is just wonderful. So here's another one of my favourite browns, and that's Satchel brown. I say some paints definitely work better than others, and this is definitely, yeah, definitely one of those. Yeah, guys, let me know in the descriptions which sort of paints do you prefer using for the old Slapchop painting. Are you like me and use the Army Painter ones, or do you use the Citadel ones, or even sort of the dipping inks from green stuff. There's also the Vallejo ones. I've never tried them. Maybe I need to. Yeah, guys, let me know in the description or the box down below which paints you prefer using for Slapchop, and whether or not, especially if there's any new ones that I've not even heard of, and maybe I should have a go at well, trying out some other ones. But yeah, so this one is definitely a good brown. Goes on really well and makes things looks like wood, or in this case leather, as in, well, the leather sort of strap belt that this dude has got around his waist. So it's been quite a while since I've done a live stream painting. I mean, it's always because I never know, again, if you guys are really interested in watching me paint something live. Yeah, let me know in the comments. If I get quite a few people, then yeah, it's been a while and I'll do a live stream of me painting. So this warrior skin, now when I sort of say about the paints that I normally use and really like, this is one I never normally use that much because I find it very, well, as you can see, it's quite watery and kind of almost translucent. But I think it works really well for the cork stoppers in these bottles. Again, this is one of those browns that if you put like several layers on, you could build it up and make it look obviously like a stronger brown. But that's why I like the other browns that I've just used, because they are one coat, nice and strong. So this warrior skin is, yeah, it's very translucent. Which again, I guess it's probably good if I actually use it as a skin paint rather than as a normal sort of brown looking one. But yeah, for these the cork toppers, yeah, warrior skin seems to do the job. So this miniature certainly was a joy to paint, as again, I love how it looks. Yeah, it was just so much fun. So a bit of blood red now to do some of the bottles and a few other little details like his brooch or pendant. Not too sure what this is, but yeah, that's going to have a bit of blood red on it as well. And then obviously his eyes. Yeah, I think to give him that evil, menacing look, I think we should go, yeah, definitely go red on the eyes. But as we all know, well, I think most people, eyes, yeah, tricky things to do because they are small. And in fact, there's two. If you've got one eye, it's so easy. You can't really go too wrong. But with two eyes, to try and make them so they don't look like they're cross-eyed or one eye is bigger than the other, yeah, always a nightmare. So orc skin green here. Now this is a green I don't really use. Definitely don't use orc green skin paint on a orc. Oh, I can't even talk. Just because I don't like how it looks. I think it's because it's just too green. I definitely like my orcs to have a bit of a different sort of shade or hue of green. Whereas to me, this is definitely well, it's like a Hulk. If I was going to paint the Hulk, yeah, orc green skin, or even just orc skin, I don't know why I keep saying green skin, would be the one I would use. So yeah, we use that on a bottle, and yeah, these little tentacles coming out of this book, yeah, they can be green as well. But mainly because obviously I don't really use this green, and it's a full bottle. So I need to try and use it where I can, I guess, and save my better greens for my good old green orc skins. Man, sometimes I never know what to say. I just waffle. But yeah, hey ho, I'm having fun. Are you having fun? So maize yellow candles, good old candles. Yeah, don't know how to say really about the candles. So yeah, a bit of yellow on them. I will go over a little bit later and put a little bit of orange on the very tippy tops, just to make it look like there's a bit more of a flame sort of going on there. But yeah, really enjoyed. So this was a joy to paint. I'm really pleased how he came out. And yeah, so I can't wait to get hold of the other 9 miniatures that are in this sort of this Kickstarter campaign. Yeah, guys, don't forget, check down below and see more details about this and obviously the upcoming game. Yeah, good old silver now for a few bits. I have mentioned the silver in the past, that it goes on a treat. But when it comes to like working the same as the other speed paints, it's not bad. There's definitely, you get like a lighter area and a darker area. But obviously with most of the Army Painter speed paints, you get a lighter area, a medium area, and then a darker area. So the silvers, yeah, not bad. And I know Army Painter, they are awesome at improving everything they do, which is just great. And obviously they listen to painters, which is just amazing because they are always striving to, well, be the best and improve what they do. And obviously everything they do to make it easier for the likes of people like me. But yeah, not the best of painters, but we still enjoy painting, and they definitely do whatever they can do to improve paints to make things, yeah, a lot more enjoyable and fun for everyone, really. So there's only a few things left to paint on this this wonderful miniature. There's a couple of skulls here, and not surprisingly, I'm going to paint them in bony matter, just because, well, skulls are made of bone. It does what it says on the tin. Yeah, this is another paint that I use quite a bit. Again, another one of these ones where it's very translucent, so it's really good to go though, because you can obviously do one sort of coat. If it's not enough, you just let it dry and give it a second one, so you can sort of build it up. As the old saying goes, yeah, 2 coats or thin coats, build it up, build it up, build it up. And yeah, coming along really well, looking good. Yeah, a bit of gold. Again, the gold, I think the gold is more just gold. I don't know what to say about it, really. Yeah, so with the silver, there's definitely sort of like a lighter and darker bit. I think the gold is just, it just goes on like looking like gold. So when I'm normally painting my other miniatures, and say I do like the Grimdark sort of style, I normally paint the gold and the silver, and then I still chuck a wash on over the top, just so it sort of breaks it up and it doesn't look too, well, it doesn't look too neat and tidy. Although in this case, this chap, yeah, I don't mind him looking sort of a bit neat and tidy. And obviously the floor again, yeah, I'm going to have that as being neat and tidy, because this guy takes care of his place. He sweeps up and all the rest of it. So yeah, I'm not going to use any washes over this. I am just going to leave this as a nice, yeah, nice strong, vibrant sort of, well, gold looking embossed floor, I guess. So you can't be a true wizard, sorcerer or warlock without having, well, obviously a magic book. And he's got one here. So I want to do some like writing on it, but the first thing I like to do is do some fine or faint pencil lines, just when I do sort of do a sort of like, well, fake writing, it doesn't all go off at weird and wonderful angles. So using the brush with obviously a smaller bit of paint on this, yeah, just doing some like wibbly wobbly, well, little brush strokes, I guess, just to indicate it could be some sort of writing, hieroglyphics, or, well, some sort of magical text, I guess. And obviously, yeah, so with the faint lines I've done with the pencil, you can't really see them that well because obviously the black ink going over the top. And yeah, I think it's a quick, easy way of making some sort of fake writing, yeah, in a book. So guys, if you like what I'm doing, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell, like, share, and definitely leave loads of comments down below, guys. As I say, definitely let me know if you do prefer the longer version of me showing every sort of step and every paint, like I am here with the old Grimdark the Black. Yeah, or if you do prefer my sort of shorter, more concise videos where I just sort of crack on, get it done. So I'm happy doing either, because say I do film pretty much most of what I'm doing with painting wise, so it is easy for me to make the longer videos. It does just mean though, guys, you will get more waffle, which in some cases is good. You get more waffle for your buck. So yeah. Plus again, I know a lot of you guys are probably painting or doing something else, or maybe you've even just turned me on and then got off and you're walking the dog. But there you go. So Fire Giant Orange. I'll have to admit, orange is another one where sometimes this is where I do sway away from Army Painter, and I do use a Citadel orange. If I want like a nice, stronger, more vibrant orange, then yeah, I will use the Citadel paints rather than the Army Painter paints, because the Army Painter ones, I just find them, again, my style is I love Grimdark, so yeah, it kind of suits that well. But every now and then I do paint something and I want it to have a nice strong, well, an orange as opposed to something a bit sort of dirtier. But yeah, so, but yeah, in general, Army Painter Speedpaints is my go-to paint. Army Painter, I love you guys. As you can see, I've got one of their large cutting mats. Although I'm very privileged, because the cutting mat you can see in the background isn't something you can buy. Yeah, I'm very fortunate that Army Painter, I kind of politely asked if there's any, or cheekily asked, I should say, if there was any way I could have one of their cutting mats, because my last cutting mat was a right old mess. And I just, well, I love their stuff. So as you can see, I am using a Citadel paint here, and that's just the good old Abaddon Black, and yeah, just using that to obviously tidy up the ring or the round bit of the base, just because when obviously I'm doing the dry brushing, it would have got a little bit well, a little bit of dry brush on it really. So yeah, Abaddon Black by Citadel Colour, just to sort of tidy up the bottom bit there. So I kind of missed an eye here. Well, I didn't really miss it. It's kind of, guessing I'm saving the best for last. I'm going to try and make this into like a normal looking eye with like the old black pupil. Again, this is where I struggle with eyes and doing real fine definition. I may have gone over the line a little bit there, we know it to see. And then yeah, to finish the eye off, just a nice little simple white little dot in the corner there, just to indicate a bit of, I don't know, is it sun flare or sunlight? Something like that, you know what I mean. And then this chap is nearly done, so last sort of little bit here, a bit of Ushabati, Ushabati bone, just for his nails. Again, I think whenever I do nails or teeth, I generally don't use any of the speed paints. Yeah, I normally do, well, a different kind of paint, and then in general I would go over it with a black wash. But say, I think this dude, he can have some nice cleanish looking nails, as I'm just going to leave them as is. And then the last little thing to do, he's got a couple of little feathers sort of dangling down here, and we're just going to paint those yellows, and then we're going to call this dude done. So roll VT and let's see the glamour shots of this guy in, well, all his glory. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Don't forget to check out the link down below to Evernight Battlegrounds and have a look at the other awesome figures they've got there. I want to say they have sponsored the video, so a big shout out and thank you to them for doing that, as I certainly enjoyed painting this miniature, and I can't wait to get hold of the other ones and paint them too. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Leave plenty of comments down below, guys. And a big thank you also to my patrons, Chaos Cards and the Colour Forge, for supporting the channel every month, and which means I can continue to make sort of videos and have fun and generally be a big kid. There's another video on the screen, guys. Give that a click, see more what I do. You guys all take care. See you in the next one. Bye for now.